Hey everybody, Coach over here from the Card Bazaar, and today I'm here to present a brand new episode of Card Anthology. This episode and the set come after the last set of the Wrath cycle known as Exodus. So let us take a look at the set simply known as Portal Second Age. Portal Second Age was released on June 24th, 1998, and was released only 9 days after the Exodus set. Portal Second Age was a beginner set just like its predecessor, simply called Portal. Portal Second Age was meant for new players coming into the Magic the Gathering scene. Portal excluded things such as instant spells, artifacts, and enchantments in order for the game to be easier to learn and much slower. It was never sanctioned for any legitimate formats until 2005, when the Portal expansions became legal in both Vintage and Legacy. Portal Second Age did not bring any new mechanics or themes to the set. The symbol of the set was the Pentagon. For this set, Bill Rose would be the lead designer and the lead developer. The team consisted of Dan Cervelli, Joel Mick, Mike Elliott, Mark Rosewater, and William Jockish, along with Henry Stern and Jonathan Tweet. Chaz Elliott would be the art director for the Portal Second Age set. Portal Second Age was very similar in the way that the original Portal set was created. Just as previously mentioned, there were no instants, artifacts, or enchantments. The cards from the set consisted of mainly creatures and sorcery spells. One difference between Portal and Portal Second Age was that in the Portal Second Age set, there were specific creature types, unlike in Portal, where under the text only read the image Summon Creature. Another difference was the same terminology would be used from standard sets in order to prevent player confusion when going from beginner level Magic to more advanced game formats. The original Portal, as mentioned in our Card Anthology episode over a month ago, used different terms for power, toughness, and graveyard. The terms used instead were attack, defense, and discard pile respectively, and aggravating many players when making the jump in competition, as these terms were never used in higher level Magic gameplay. Mystic Denial could only be played after the opponent summoned a creature or casted a spell. The card effect was to cancel out and send it to the graveyard. Just Fate was another sorcery card that could only be played after an opponent declares an attack. This card would let you destroy one attacking creature of your choice. Unlike Portal, Portal Second Age had its own storyline. It was set on the island of Kaliman, which was on the plane of Dominaria. The story focused on the conflicts between the 5 different people that lived on Kaliman. It consisted of the kingdom of Alaborn, the Talos merchants and pirates, the goblins and the other mountain-dwelling creatures, the elves of Norwood Forest, and the Dakmor Night Stalkers. The main focus of the storyline was the increasing Night Stalker attack on the Alaborn kingdom due to the influence of the sorceress Tojira. The story was told through the cards and was designed to be open-ended, with the idea being that players constructing decks around the different tribes would play out the story in a different fashion. The set was 165 total cards, with 70 commons such as Golden Bear and Swarm of Rats, 45 uncommons such as Bargain and Goblin Lore, and 35 rares such as Vampiric Spirit and Magma Giant. According to MTG Stocks, the average card price for Portal Second Age is around $1.66. There are also 5 theme decks that came out in Portal Second Age. The theme decks were called Martial Law, which was the white theme deck, Spellweaver, which was the blue colored deck, Night Stalkers, which revolved around black, Goblin Fire, which is a red colored deck, and Nature's Assault, which used the color green. The art for the booster packs contained the image for the card Relentless Assault, which is a red sorcery card that untapped all your creatures and granted a second combat phase. There were 38 true reprints for this set. Cards included were cards such as Blaze, which is a red card that dealt X damage to target player or creature. Hand of Death, which is a black card that destroyed a non-black creature. Touch of Brilliance was a blue card that made you draw 2 cards. Raise Dead, which was another black card, will let you return target creature from your graveyard to your hand, and Vengeance, which is a white card that destroyed target tapped creature. These cards were reprinted from the original Portal set. Reprints from other sets included Air Elemental, which is a blue creature with 4/4 and flying. This card was reprinted from 5th edition. Coercion, which is a black card that made an opponent reveal their hand and you discarded 1 card from it. This was reprinted from the Tempest set. Hidden Horror was a 4/4 black creature that could only stay on the battlefield if you discard a creature card. If not, then Hidden Horror was sacrificed. This creature was reprinted from the Weatherlight expansion. Tidal Surge was a blue card that could be used to tap up to 3 target creatures. Tidal Surge was reprinted from the Stronghold set. And Tremor, which is a red card that dealt 1 damage to each creature without flying. This card was reprinted from the expansion called Visions. There was also a total of 22 functional reprints. Functional reprints included cards such as Talus Warrior, which acted as Phantom Warrior from the Weatherlight set, Ogre Warrior, which played the same as Tor Giant from Ice Age, Blood Curling Scream, which played like Howl from Beyond in 5th edition, Salvas, which acted as Reclaim from the Exodus expansion, and Alaborn Veteran, which played the same as Stern Marshal from the original Portal set. Other cards worth mentioning are the top 5 currently expensive non-notable cards for both creatures and sorcery spells. Starting with the creatures, Deathcoil Worm was a 7/6 green creature that had the option of dealing damage to the player if it was ever blocked by an opponent's creature. This card is worth around $4.25. Goblin General was the 1/1 red creature that gave other goblin creatures +1/+1 until the end of turn. This card was also important with the Goblin tribal themes that came out as well, along with the other sets such as Goblin Matron and Goblin Warstrike, playing vital roles with this card. This card is worth around $5. Predatory Night Stalker was a 3/2 black creature that when it entered the battlefield, it forced an opponent to sacrifice one of their creatures. Razorclaw Bear is a 3/3 green creature and it receives a +2/+2 bonus whenever it becomes blocked. This card is worth around $10. And lastly for the creatures in this section is Norwood Priestess, which was a 1/1 green creature that had the tap ability to play a green creature from your hand. For the sorceries, Righteous Fury was a white card that is a blue card that would let you take a look at the top 2 cards of your hand, with you picking one card and putting it in your hand, with the other one being placed at the bottom of your library. This card was a common rarity and is currently worth about $5.50. Armageddon was a powerful white card that destroyed all land cards. This card was also the staple in many decks in 1996 and 1997 and is currently worth around $6. Piracy was a blue card that allowed you to use an opponent's land to cast your own spells. This card is worth around $10.50. And finally, for the sorceries, is Temporal Manipulation, which is a blue card that would let you take another turn after the current turn. This card is worth around $54. There were 10 notable cards from the Portal 2nd Age set. Angel of Mercy was a 3/3 white creature that had flying, and when it enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life. Beasting was the green sorcery card that dealt 2 damage to either one creature or one opponent. Beasting was a functional reprint, but it's one of very few green direct damage spells. Its high cost, however, made players not use the card as much. Dakmor Sorceress was a black creature that would give power depending on how many swamps were on your side of the field. This card was also most likely the representation for Tojira from the set's storyline, as there was no legendary creatures in Portal 2nd Age. Goblin Raider was a 2/2 red creature that can't block. It has a converted mana cost of 2 and was used by many beginners for the use in the Goblin tribal decks. Lone Wolf was a 2/2 green creature that could deal damage to a player as though it wasn't being blocked. This card is similar to Deathcoil Worm, as it could redirect damage to a blocking creature to a player, and was dubbed by players as Super Trample. Ogre Taskmaster was a 4/3 red creature that couldn't block. It would be reprinted 4 different times after this set. Prowling Night Stalker was a 2/2 black creature that couldn't be blocked except by other black creatures. Ravenous Rats was a 1/1 black creature that when it enters the battlefield, an opponent discarded 1 card from their hand. This card would later be seen in Pauper and Rat tribal decks. Wildfire was a red sorcery that forced players to sacrifice 4 lands and 4 damage was dealt to each creature. It would later be reprinted in the Urza block. The last notable card was Brimstone Dragon, which was a 6/6 red creature with haste. This was one of the best creatures out of the set and was also in contention for a spot in 10th edition, but lost to Shivan Hellkite in a public vote for the set. Here's an interesting fact about the Portal 2nd Age set. The flavor of the set is a controversial aspect of the set. The main point of contention is the Alaborn use of firearms, as seen on cards such as Alaborn Zealot and Alaborn Musketeer. This was badly received by players as it was seen to be too real world, and the Magic the Gathering universe was graded with the traditional swords and sorcery fantasy setting. Since the story took place on Dominaria, guns had never been depicted before or at the very least mentioned. Since the set was released, other cards have shown advanced technology such as Urza's Titan engines, but it is generally made clear that devices are considered to be magical in nature. A sealed booster box of Portal 2nd Age is worth around $500. So that is all I have for this episode of Card Anthology. Please let us know in the comments what you thought about this episode and the cards contained inside the set. We always like to know what you guys think every time y'all watch an episode of Card Anthology. Next week we will be going over the Unglued set, so be on the lookout for that episode next Sunday. If you enjoyed this video, please sure to hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Visit us on our social media pages such as Facebook, Twitter, and the MTG Amino app by clicking on the links below. Thank you guys for the continued support. This is Coach signing out, and I will see you guys next time at the Card Bazaar.